they keep us alive from dawn to dusk.
As
We
well
never
as
stop
I just am gonna
building
start
dreams
again.
right from the
Okay.
top. Hustle hard, staying sweet, side jobs, make ends meet. Secrets flow, we know the way. Grind today, we'll
Hustle
shine
harder
someday.
and starting again. Got it. Hey, welcome to this special Super Bowl edition of Side Hustle Secrets. No need to talk about who's going to win because we already know who's going to win. But today we're going to talk about the Super Bowl and side hustles because it's going to be one of the busiest days that you will ever have. You will make more money on this day than on most days of the year. This will definitely be in your top 3 days of the year to make money, but it's important that you strategize and do it right. So we're going to go over some top tips that I have for maximum success during the Super Bowl. So let's go right ahead and get ready. Number one most important tip, get yourself ready. Make sure your car's good to go. Make sure your car's cleaned out, ready to rock. Your tire pressure is good. If you need to do a car wash, now's the time to do a car wash. Make sure you have all the space you need. Make sure you have your driver's license, registration, all that sort of stuff. Because any of that stuff goes down, you're bad on one of the busiest days of the year. So make sure everything's lined up. Make sure you're good to go. Make sure you're ready to rock and roll. That's the number one tip that I have. Number two, leave early. Get out of the house as soon as you possibly can. And that's because a lot of things are going to be starting very, very soon, much sooner than the game. The reason I say this is if you use UberEATS or DoorDash or use Instacart, people are going to be shopping for the day ahead of time, and that's going to start right away early in the morning. So that's another one. Get out earlier than you would normally get out. Even if you don't do shops, you're going to want to be strategizing like where are the hot spots, where in the market do I want to be, am I ready to go? And order volume is going to come in earlier than it typically does, especially for the dinner rush. The reason for that is typically your dinner rush is going to start at 5 p.m., right? 5 is your dinner rush. Well, kickoff is really like the maximum peak time, followed by halftime. But people typically order 35 to 40 minutes before kickoff, 35 to 45 minutes before halftime. So those are the times you need to be ready. So be sure to be ready to go early. That's tip number two. Number three, I actually am going to recommend if you live in a market that has earn by time with either UberEATS or DoorDash, that you consider doing earn by time because the volume is going to be so busy that the algorithm that sends the orders out isn't going to be able to parse them the way that it normally does. So you're going to get maximum highly boosted earn by times. To give you an example, in Las Vegas, the earn by time average in my market is 13.25. On the Super Bowl, it's going to be much closer to 20, and you're definitely getting tips on top of that. So if you're not sure about what to do, I'm still probably going to be doing earn by offer. But earn by time is going to be some of the highest paying that you'll ever see earn by time in terms of the hourly. And that leads us actually into tip number three, which is all about wait times and how you strategize for wait times. So before we get into tip number three, it'll kind of make sense why earn by time might be a good solution for you if you don't typically do earn by time. So now let's talk about that. Tip number three. All right, sorry, I actually meant tip number 4. This is tip number 4. Wait time. Super Bowl is going to have some of the highest wait times. The reason for that is that order volume is so massive and it tends to hit restaurants that already have very high wait times. So what are those places? Pizza, wings, anything that's deep fried, any snacky type foods. So if you think of like your pizza place, places like Papa John's, those places have high wait times. Wingstop, Buffalo Wild Wings, those places are going to have very, very high wait times. Super Bowl Sunday last year, the local Buffalo Wild Wings, I remember I got an order that was it was a great order. I got there, I mistakenly got stuck, and there was literally 45 gig workers waiting for orders. 45 people just waiting. They couldn't handle all of it, and people were waiting like an hour and a half. You do not want to be waiting an hour and a half on Super Bowl Sunday for an order, unless that's as much as you would make in like 2 hours typically, or 3 hours typically. That leads us to the next part. Strategize the locations that you go to. If you've been doing this a while and you know the locations that are really good, really on point, focus on those. Grab those orders. If you can grab an order that is going to be on time and maybe is, let's just say, a $20 order versus an order that's going to take a long wait time that's $30, and you can do a 20, a 20, and a 20 versus a 30 in 1 hour, that kind of strategy is how you're going to really maximize it on Super Bowl Sunday. Be cautious of the stores that usually take a long time on normal days. Write your list, be ready. When you see the offer screen pop up and it's a great offer and they're normally a store that takes an extra 20 or 30 minutes to get your item, you are going to be waiting there forever on Super Bowl Sunday. So strategize about where you want to go. Try to go to those restaurants that you have good relationships with or places that you know that you can, like, they're on top of it. And honestly, you might make some more money than you would normally make because you're going to those locations that maybe have less just orders popping. You know what I mean? Like if you go to a place that's not as typically busy on Super Bowl, you might make more money just because you can turn the orders around faster. So that would be the next one. The next tip I would have is with alcohol deliveries. Okay? Alcohol deliveries on Super Bowl Sunday are going to be some of the largest volume you would have. The tip about alcohol deliveries, because of the volume, because of how crazy it gets, take your time getting everything right. Take your time with the verification. Most platforms require you to do a few things. Number one, ask and verify, hey, are you 21 years of age? I know it's silly. I know it kind of feels like a lot to do. Ask that question. Number two, check the ID. Is this the same person, right? Number three, scan the ID in the app. Make sure that you scanned it the right way. If you mess up, you walk away from the house and you're in your car, you could be in a lot of trouble. If you mess up an alcohol order on any platform, you most certainly will be deactivated. It's almost completely certain. Super Bowl Sunday is the alcohol delivery day. Like you're gonna make a ton of money if you're opted into alcohol delivery, but you could also risk deactivation if you mess it up. And alcohol deliveries are very easy to mess up. I know this sounds kind of silly, but strategize your bathroom's, strategy. Because you're gonna be moving around a lot more than you might be used to, like, have you planned that out? Do you know yourself and your body enough to know, like, what is your bathroom strategy? You don't wanna be waiting in line at a place that doesn't have a publicly accessible bathroom, and then it ends up your 10-minute wait turns into a 30-minute wait, and then you gotta drive 20 minutes, and you've had to pee the whole time, right? I know that's a weird thing to talk about, but like at the end of the day, we're all human, and we all gotta watch out for ourselves. So make sure that you're keeping a good eye on that. And the next tip is obviously tip number 6, which is stay hydrated, refreshed, and relaxed yourself. It is very busy on Super Bowl Sunday. So do you need to take a little bit of time to just reset, grab a drink of water? You know when you go into the store and they're like, do you want a cup of water? Take the water, drink it in. It's gonna be more intense, okay? So focus on that as well. Don't be afraid to drop an order if your wait time is too long. Let me say that again. Don't be afraid to drop an order if your wait time is too long. I know that it's been very slow in gig work for a while, honestly. And if you get a $20 order and you're sitting at that restaurant and it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you really could be losing out on significant income if you sit and hang on to that order. So there are times when it's okay to just drop the order. Obviously with platforms like UberEATS and Grubhub, you do get kind of penalized if you drop that order. And I guess DoorDash as well. DoorDash lets you drop the order in 10 minutes. So what I'm trying to say here is there's going to be enough order volume that you are going to be able to drop an order and get another order, okay? And the last tip number 8, is communicate with your customer. So my general philosophy on gig apps specifically is surprisingly the less communication you have tends to be the better. And I think that one of the reasons for that is people who use these services tend to be more technically savvy and they don't really love a lot of extra communication. It's like, can you just deliver the food? When there's long wait times, as there will be, Wait time is probably the one time I honestly always say communicate with the customer. A quick check-in. Hey, just want to let you know the order is still being prepared. I'm still here. Here's what's going on. That will go a long way. And on Super Bowl Sunday, you are much more likely to get a tip bump if you're communicating with your customer, right? Because they will be waiting longer than they expected. You communicate that, you're gonna have a better experience on the back end. And my last tip is, honestly, grind out as much as you can on Super Bowl Sunday. Stay out as early as you can, get out as early as you can, stay out as late as you can. The reason for that is we are entering a weird, and have really still been in, a real period of slowness in the gig space. So use Super Bowl Sunday as a pad for yourself. Get some money built and saved up, because there are going to be a few days of slowness. The next big day is Valentine's Day, and we'll talk about Valentine's Day later. But until tax returns start hitting, it is rough out there. It is like a desert of orders out there. So take this time, make the bank, and save that up, okay? If your main question is it going to be busy on Super Bowl Sunday? I've never worked a Super Bowl Sunday. The answer is it's one of the busiest days you will ever see. So yeah, that's the tips and tricks for Super Bowl Sunday. That's for obviously 2025. I hope you have fun. I hope you stay safe, and I hope you make so much money. If you find value in this content, it's free. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Please do click that subscribe button, because that helps me to make this content for you going forward. Good luck out there. Have fun. Drive safe. And thanks for tuning in to Side Hustle Secrets.